Welcome, brave souls and not so brave souls just looking for a good story, to our tour of infernal holiday destinations. Every culture seems to have a VIP lounge reserved for not so great afterlives, from China's city of ghosts to Mayans' morbid man caves. In this video, let's hopscotch through doorways, pits, and ponds that people believed would drop you straight into hell's waiting room. So here are 5 real-life places that people believed were the entrance to hell. Number 1, Cape Matapan Caves, Greece, a land of myths, legends, and as it turns out, potential passages to the underworld. Located at Cape Matapan, the southernmost tip of Greece's mainland, are caves that were considered in ancient times as one of the entrances to Hades, the shadowy underworld. Now, this isn't just a place where people speculated about the existence of Hades. Several significant events in Greek mythology reportedly took place here. Remember the tragic love story of Orpheus and Eurydice? Orpheus, the talented musician who could charm all living things with his music, descended into Hades to retrieve his beloved Eurydice. And guess where he chose to start his journey? That's right, the Cape Matapan Caves. Not only that, but when Hercules had his 12 labor-filled days and tasked with capturing the 3-headed dog Cerberus, he also chose this particular cave as his entry point. Now also known as Cape Teneron, because this locale was once home to a town called Teneron. Today, while the town may not be as bustling, the cave still holds a lure for visitors. Those who wish to glimpse the ancient Hellgate, however, must take a slightly airy boat ride. Interestingly, nearby there's also an ancient temple dedicated to Poseidon, the god of the sea, giving the area even more mythological weight. So while you're contemplating the mysteries of the afterlife in the cave, you can also ponder on the vastness of the sea and its own legendary tales. Number 2, Hekla. Perched in the south of Iceland, Hekla stands tall, its icy peaks piercing the heavens. But beneath its serene exterior lies a fiery temperament that has over the centuries earned it the title Gateway to Hell. Historical accounts of Hekla's eruptions have given it a hellish reputation. Its first recorded eruption in 1104 was so powerful that it altered the landscape, spewing ash and pumice far and wide. Imagine the scene: a landscape wrapped in ice and snow, suddenly torn apart by ice and molten lava, with ash darkening the skies. It's no wonder that the medieval minds of Europe heard tales of this eruption and thought, surely this is where the earth opens up to hell. It's not just about the eruptions though. Poetry and literature have played their part in cementing Hekla's demonic reputation. Take monk Benedict's poem from the 12th century, which dubbed Hekla as the eternal prison of Judas, after his betrayal of Jesus. But Hekla's infernal affiliation don't end with betrayed apostles. The Flatey Book Annals, a medieval Icelandic manuscript, describes eerie sightings of large birds believed to be the souls of the damned, flying amidst the fiery craters during an eruption. But even with all this spooky folklore, Hekla's association with the underworld began to fade during the modern era. Still, local tales linger, like the ones about witches rendezvousing with the devil on its slopes during Easter. So for a volcano that's erupted approximately once every decade in the last century, and with geologists continually monitoring its rumblings, Hekla remains an enigmatic blend of natural wonder and legendary gateway to the underworld. Number 3, Lacus Curious. In the heart of the Roman Forum, surrounded by grand temples and basilicas, lies what might seem like a nondescript pit to the casual observer. But oh, the stories this pit could tell if it could speak. This is the Lacus Curious, an enigmatic spot steeped in legend and mystery, and it's as much a part of Rome's rich tapestry of tales as any grand Colosseum or arch. Several legends are associated with this pit. One of the most famous was documented by the renowned Roman historian Livy. As the story goes, a yawning chasm suddenly appeared in the Roman Forum, growing wider each day. Terrified, the Romans sought the advice of oracles to close it, fearing it was a gateway to the underworld. The prophecy they received was cryptic. The chasm would only close when Rome's greatest asset was thrown into it. Enter Marcus Curious. In a moment of reflection, perhaps even epiphany, this young Roman concluded that the strength of Rome wasn't in his gold or luxuries, but in the valor of his warriors. Marcus, clad in full armor and mounted on his horse, plunged into the abyss. Miraculously, the ground sealed up, consuming both Marcus and his noble steed, preserving the city in its legacy. But this isn't the only story about Lacus Curious. Another legend suggests that it's named after a consul named Curious, who heroically died there during a battle against Sabines. Now, whatever the true story behind the Lacus Curious is, this modest pit has watched emperors rise and fall and has been a silent witness to Rome's ever-evolving history. Number 4. Acton Tunicio Muknau Cave. Deep within the lush tropical rainforests of Belize lies a portal to an ancient underworld, the Acton Tunicio Muknau Cave, often abbreviated as ATM, which amusingly won't dispense cash but an abundance of eerie history. This is one of Central America's most intriguing archaeological wonders, and for those who dare to venture inside, it offers an uncanny blend of natural beauty and remnants of ancient Mayan rituals. The name itself translates to Cave of the Crystal Sepulchre, and a journey through its winding tunnels takes you back in time, shedding light on chilling Mayan practices surrounding death in the afterlife. In a world dominated by pyramids and sun gods, ATM stands out with its dark, damp, and narrow chambers, perfect for those ancient Mayans looking to impress or maybe appease the darker deities. And the tales that this cave whispers aren't for the faint of heart. One of the most spine-chilling discoveries here is the skeletal remains of the Crystal Maiden. This unfortunate young woman, believed to be between 18 and 20 years old at her time of death, was probably a sacrifice to the gods. Over a millennium since her untimely end, the calcium in the cave has calcified her bones, giving them a sparkling crystalline appearance. But she's not the only lost soul resting in the cave. Remnants of pottery, other human skeletal remains, and ancient artifacts reveal that this site was a hub of ceremonial activities. Researchers believe that the Mayans might have used this cave during times of agricultural distress, attempting to communicate with their gods of the underworld, the dark and mysterious Xibalba. Today, the cave has turned into an adventure hotspot, attracting both the thrill seekers and the history buffs. A visit requires a bit of an adventurous spirit, wading through water, squeezing between narrow spaces, and an essential headlamp. But beyond the physical challenges, there's an unspoken question that lingers for every visitor. Do you dare to tread where the ancient Mayans once walked, danced, and made sacrifices to appease the shadowy gods of old? Finally, number 5, Fengdu Ghost City. Ever fancied a vacation spot with a touch of the supernatural? Maybe a place where the border between the living and the dead isn't so clear-cut? Well, I've got a recommendation that'll send chills down your spine. Fengdu Ghost City. This ancient city, perched airily on the Ming Mountain and casting shadows over the Yangtze River, has been dubbed the entrance to hell. And trust me, that's not a title you get from just a few spooky bedtime stories. Fengdu is a landscape of unsettling dioramas and statues that vividly depict the afterlife. We're talking scenes of demonic entities and restless spirits, trials of virtue, and soul-piercing eyes watching your every move. It's like walking through a creepy maze where every corner holds tales of souls being judged, and the air is thick with ancient mysteries. For example, the Bridge of Troubled Water stands as a test. It's believed to separate the virtuous souls from the wicked ones. Take one step and you might find out if you're hellbound or heavenworthy. No pressure, right? Fengdu is undeniably a blend of captivating history and chilling folklore. It's said that beneath its intricate temples and age-old structures lies the actual gateway to the underworld. Many say when they take a walk through the city, they could actually hear whispers in the wind or sometimes feel a cold hand on their shoulders. So if you do decide to visit the city, don't say I didn't warn you. Well, there you have it, folks. Our whirlwind tour of the world's spookiest entrances to hell. From fiery pits to underwater lakes, it makes you wonder, who in their right mind decided that these would be really great tourist attractions? But hey, whether they lead to the underworld or just an epic Instagram photo, they're definitely worth checking out. And remember, it's all fun and games until you can't find the exit. So like, share, and drop your favorite creepy locale in the comments, and until next time, stay curious, everybody.